What's up, people? Welcome back to Internash. I have been in Australia for over 3 years now, and I have studied in Melbourne, moved to Adelaide so that my option to apply for permanent residency stays open. I have seen a lot of people miss out on applying for permanent residency, or they wake up too late and then they do not have an option to apply for their permanent residency. And that's why in this video, we're discussing 3 mistakes a lot of people make when it comes to applying for permanent residency in Australia. So if you're somebody who wants to come here to study and then apply for their PR, or you're studying here and want to apply for a PR, this video is just for you. So check it out. Before we get into the video, I quickly just wanted to mention 2 things. Number 1, I just wanted to thank you guys. Thank you for supporting us throughout our journey. From 0, we have reached to 88,000 subscribers, and we are just 12,000 subscribers away from reaching 100,000 subscribers. So thank you so much. And number 2, I'm not a registered migration agent. So whatever I'm going to tell you is from my personal experience or the experiences that I've seen of my friends. Getting back to the video, the first mistake that a lot of people make is that they're too afraid to move to a regional area, and this one comes from my personal experience. I graduated in July 2019. After that, I met a lot of registered migration agents because I wanted to know what were my options if I wanted to keep my option to apply for permanent residency in Australia. And almost everybody told me that the best option for me is to move to a regional area, and the option they had given to me was Tasmania, Northern Territory, Adelaide, Regional Victoria, etc. So what I did was I started applying for full-time jobs in marketing in those areas and also Melbourne. I ended up getting a job in Melbourne, which means I was going to stay and work in Melbourne. So I worked there for a couple of months, and I visited a lot of registered migration agents again and asked them, is there no way that I can work in Melbourne and apply for my permanent residency? And the answer was no. And when I was moving to Adelaide, not even kidding, I was living with my best of friends. I was having the best time of my life, and then I had to move to Adelaide, and I had no idea how my life would turn out here. And it was super difficult. Funny thing is, I was talking to somebody who had moved to Adelaide. I was like, oh, you know what? I would also have to move to Adelaide. And he told me that 70% of the people who says that they're going to move to regional do not move to regional. And that just blew my mind. I was like, wow, it is really hard, and I get it why people would not want to move to regional area. But guys, the important thing is, if you have to move to a regional area and you want to stay in Australia, then you should just make that move as soon as possible. And if you're watching this from your home country and you're planning to study in Australia, considering regional area, so anything apart from Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, studying any of those areas is not a bad option. When I was coming here, I had this in my mind that I want to study in Melbourne or Sydney. There would be maximum opportunities, etc. That is true. The opportunities would be higher in Melbourne and Sydney. But if your goal, or if you want your option of having a permanent residency open, then studying in regional area would give you a lot of benefits. Moving on to point number 2, and that is figure out your plan to get your permanent residency in detail. Now, I get it. This is super simple, and everybody should know what they want, and they should meet registered migration agents, and they should know what they're doing. But the number of people who do not do that is crazy. And if you're watching this and you're one of these, you know how important this is. I'll give you my simple example. That when I graduated in July 2019, I met multiple registered migration agents, and I asked them what all options do I have. Now, especially when somebody is studying a course like nursing or engineering or education, then they have a lot of options of permanent residency. They can apply for 189, 190, 491, depending which field they're in. And that's why they don't go to a registered migration agents or multiple registered migration agents and ask what exactly should be their pathway. So they pass their TR, for example, 6 months or a year, and then they're like, okay, cool, now I'll have to apply, so I should go. But that is not the best approach. If you want a permanent residency, you should know your options in detail, and that's why you need to meet a registered migration agent whenever possible if you're studying, or even when you are on your TR or just getting your TR started. That will give you the best roadmap and best options, because a lot of people lose out on their time, and that's why they have to go back to their country or they get another student visa, and all that process is extremely tedious and expensive. So don't do that. Moving on to point number 3, and that is about PR points. But before we move to this point, I want you guys to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We are just 12,000 subscribers away from reaching 100,000 subscribers. And at last, share this video with your friends, whoever is interested in coming to Australia or who's in Australia and interested in applying for their permanent residency. Moving on to the third and final point, and that is about PR points. What a lot of people do is that they don't take all these PR points seriously. Now, there are certain points that are in your hands and certain they're not. If you want to know how to calculate your PR points, I will give the link in the description below so that you can go and check that video after this video. But the important thing is, for example, age points are not in your hand. If you are between 25 to 32, you will get the highest point, and that is 30. But if you're not, that is not something that is in your hand. But what is in your hand is, for example, improving your English. Because if you get 8 each, you get 20 points. Whereas if you get 7 each, you get 10 points. So you have to figure out what are those points that are easy to get and focus on those points. For example, I'm not super confident in my Hindi. ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे हिंदी आती नहीं है, it's just I'm more comfortable with English. So I'm confident about 8 each in English, but I'm not very confident about getting that 5 points from NAATI or CCL, which is a language exam that you have to give. If you pass that, you get 5 points, and that is counted in your permanent residency. But if I want to apply for my permanent residency, that is something that I need to work on. So figure out what are the points that you can get, and then focus your energy on improving about the other points so that you get your permanent residency as soon as possible. Hope you loved that video, guys. Tomorrow we are uploading a video interview with an international student from Hong Kong who has done his Bachelor's of Business from University of Queensland. He has received so many opportunities because of his volunteering roles. That is an amazing interview which I would recommend you guys to watch. That is going out tomorrow. Hope you love this video, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We want to see at least 1,000 likes on this video. If you haven't shared this video with your friends, share this video with your friends right now. See you in the next video.